A big development today surrounding one of President Trump's legal woes that now sounds like it's turning into a pretty big win. A New York appeals court striking down a massive $464 million fraud penalty against the president and his companies in a civil suit over his asset valuations. Now, the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, has already responded, saying that she will seek an appeal. And that's where we want to bring in Bloomberg's June Grasso, the host of Bloomberg Law on Bloomberg Radio. June, thanks so much for being here. Can we just start out by getting some context into this case? Why was President Trump facing such a massive penalty in the first place? What led to this?
Well, the New York Attorney General sued him for fraud, saying that he overvalued his assets when trying to get loans. So if you remember, there was the Trump triplex that he said was 3 times its value and its size. So that was and it was also against the Trump sons. So it was a judge trial, and came back and he said that they were guilty of fraud, and then he imposed this massive penalty. It was an unusual kind of fraud because the so-called victims, the banks, et cetera, weren't really complaining. They didn't even have anyone testify that they had been hurt by this, and that was part of the argument that Trump's lawyers and Trump made over and over again.
June, is the issue really in this penalty being set aside just a question of its size, or is there more to it than that?
This was a very confusing 300-page opinion, and it took almost 11 months to come down with it. Normally, these opinions come down, maximum a couple of months, and that's because the judges were all over the place. 2 of the judges said they would have ordered a new trial. 2 of the judges said the fraud conviction was justified, but the penalty was too large. 1 of the judges would have dismissed the case entirely. So what does stand, though, is that they said that the fraud conviction was justified and just the penalty was excessive. They said it wasn't a cataclysmic loss, so that it violated the 8th Amendment to the Constitution, which outlaws excessive fines. And, that is the big takeaway from this, because they also said, the majority of them said, that Attorney General Letitia James acted within her authority and she was vindicating the state's interests. You know that Trump has claimed, and in fact, the Justice Department is investigating Letitia James, saying that she violated President Trump's civil rights by bringing this action. So it's a very confusing kind of decision, but what stands is that enough of the judges thought that the verdict was excessive. I mean, it was about 355 or something, and then it ballooned to over 500 with the interest penalties.